The radical power of softness, redefining strength in a hard world. Have you ever noticed how we glorify the grind, the hustle, the push, the never ending chase that leaves us breathless, depleted, and somehow still feeling like we haven't done enough? I want to talk about something revolutionary today, something that might feel counterintuitive in a world that celebrates hardness. I want to talk about the radical power of softness. Recently, I had the profound privilege of interviewing Katina Flakes, an extraordinary entrepreneur whose journey embodies the transformative potential of embracing softness without sacrificing success. Katina isn't just building businesses, she's reshaping paradigms about power, productivity, and what it truly means to thrive as a Black woman in space that weren't designed for our wholeness. Through her work in beauty, wellness, and self care, she's creating ripples that extend far beyond profit margins. She's modeling a new way of being that honors both ambition and humanity. What struck me most about Katina wasn't just her impressive achievements, but how she's creating these ripples of change by challenging the very notion that we must exhaust ourselves to prove our worth. Her impact extends far beyond business metrics. She's modeling a new paradigm for how we can show up in the world, fully powerful and fully human. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you felt truly rested? Not just physically, but soul deep rested? When did you last feel like you had permission to exhale completely? If you're struggling to remember, you're not alone. We live in a culture that has weaponized productivity. We've been conditioned to believe that our value is measured by our output, our busyness, our ability to push through pain. We wear exhaustion like a badge of honor. I'll sleep when I'm dead, we say, as if that's something to aspire to rather than a warning sign. This is especially true for Black women who have historically carried the weight of unrealistic expectations, stereotypes, and the pressure to be twice as good just to get half as far. The strong Black woman trope isn't just a stereotype, it's a survival mechanism that's become a prison. As Katina shared during our interview, the moment I realized I didn't have to earn my existence through constant productivity was the moment I truly began to live. That hit me right in the chest. Because how many of us are still trying to earn our right to exist? The truth is, softness isn't weakness, it's not fragility or lack of ambition. Softness is power. It's the courage to set boundaries, the wisdom to know when to rest, the strength to prioritize joy, the audacity to believe you deserve pleasure without prerequisite pain. Katina's journey illuminates something profound. When we release the grip of perpetual striving, we don't fall behind. We actually gain access to new realms of creativity, intuition, and authentic power that hustle culture could never deliver. I used to think success meant never stopping, Katina told me. Now I understand that the pauses, the moments of stillness, are where the magic happens. They're not interruptions to my success, they're essential ingredients. This isn't just feel good philosophy, there's science behind this. Research consistently shows that rest enhances productivity, creativity, and decision making. Our brains literally need downtime to process information, make connections, and generate insights. When we're constantly in fight or flight mode, we're operating from our most primitive brain functions, not our highest capabilities. But here's where it gets really interesting. Softness isn't just about what we do, it's about how we relate to ourselves. Many of us have internalized a harsh inner critic that constantly demands more, better, faster. We speak to ourselves in ways we would never speak to someone we love. We deny ourselves basic compassion that we freely offer others. During our conversation, Katina shared a turning point in her journey. I realized I had two voices inside me, the drill sergeant and the wise woman. The drill sergeant was loud, demanding, and never satisfied. The wise woman was gentle but powerful, compassionate but clear. I have been listening to the wrong voice my entire life. That recognition that we have a choice about which internal voice we amplify is revolutionary. What would change if you started listening to your wise woman voice? What would shift if you approached yourself with curiosity instead of criticism, with compassion instead of contempt? This isn't about lowering standards or abandoning ambition. It's about transforming the relationship between you and your goals. It's about pursuing excellence without sacrificing your humanity in the process. As Katina beautifully put it, my ambition hasn't changed. My approach has. I still want to create impact, build wealth, and leave a legacy. But I refuse to sacrifice my joy, my health, or my peace to get there. That's not success. That's self betrayal. Self betrayal. Those words landed with such weight during our interview. How often have we betrayed ourselves in the name of achievement? How frequently have we ignored our body's signals, our emotional needs, our spiritual hunger, all to check another box on an endless to do list? The soft revolution isn't about doing less, it's about being more, more present, more intentional, more aligned with what truly matters to you. Katina shared a practice that transformed her relationship with productivity. Every morning, I ask myself three questions. What would feel good today? What needs my attention today? How can I be gentle with myself today? These questions center me in my power rather than my panic. Imagine starting your day from a place of agency rather than anxiety, from choice rather than obligation, from desire rather than demand. This shift doesn't happen overnight. The programming runs deep. We've been conditioned by capitalism, by historical trauma, by societal expectations that tell us our worth is tied to our productivity. Unlearning these patterns takes time, intention, and community. It requires us to question beliefs we've held as truth. It demands that we develop new metrics for success, metrics that include joy, rest, and meaningful connection. The most radical thing I've done, Katina reflected, is to define success on my own terms, not by what I accomplish, but by how I feel while I'm accomplishing it, not by what I acquire, but by what I experience, not by external validation, but by internal alignment. This is where true freedom lives, in the space where we reclaim our right to define what matters, where we refuse to outsource our worth to external metrics, where we remember that we are human beings, not human doings. The soft revolution isn't just personal, it's political. In a world designed to extract maximum productivity with minimum support, choosing rest is resistance. Prioritizing pleasure is an act of defiance. Embracing your humanity fully and unapologetically is revolutionary. As Audre Lorde famously said, caring for myself is not self indulgence, it is self preservation, and that is an act of political warfare. When Black women, in particular, claim their right to rest, to joy, to softness, it disrupts centuries of exploitation and dehumanization. During our interview, Katina shared a powerful affirmation that guides her daily. I am worthy of rest. I am worthy of joy. I am worthy of abundance that comes with ease rather than struggle. My softness is my superpower. Let that sink in for a moment. Your softness is your superpower. What might change if you embrace that truth? How might your relationship with work transform? How might your connections with others deepen? How might your experience of your own life expand? The path to this transformation isn't complicated, but it does require courage. It starts with small acts of self reclamation, setting boundaries around your time and energy, creating rituals that honor your need for rest and reflection, surrounding yourself with people who value your humanity, not just your productivity, speaking to yourself with the same compassion you'd offer a beloved friend, celebrating the full spectrum of your humanity, your vulnerability as well as your strength, your needs as well as your gifts. As Katina wisely noted, the world will always demand more than you can give. Your job is not to meet those demands, it's to know your limits and honor them without apology. This isn't selfish, it's sustainable. It's not indulgent, it's essential. It's not weak, it's wise. The soft revolution doesn't mean we stop pursuing excellence or making an impact. It means we do so from a place of wholeness rather than depletion. It means we recognize that our greatest contributions come not from our exhaustion, but from our inspiration, our creativity, our fully expressed humanity. The quality of your output, Katina reminded me, is directly connected to the quality of your inner state. When you're depleted, stressed, and running on empty, what you create reflects that. When you're rested, inspired, and operating from abundance, your work transforms. This is the paradox that hustle culture misses. Sometimes the most productive thing you can do is rest. Sometimes the most powerful move is to pause. Sometimes the greatest achievement is not what you produce, but who you become in the process. I stand here today not just to share ideas, but to issue a challenge to disrupt the status quo of perpetual striving that has left so many of us hollow, a challenge to question whether the success you're chasing is actually yours or simply an image sold to you by a culture that profits from your exhaustion. What if, starting today, you declared your independence from the tyranny of more? What if you dared to believe that your worth isn't earned through productivity, but is inherent in your very existence? I challenge you to conduct a radical experiment. For 1 week, prioritize rest as fiercely as you prioritize work. Defend your boundaries with the same vigor you've applied to deadline chasing. Speak to yourself with the tenderness you'd offer a child learning to walk. Notice what shifts. Notice what opens. Notice what becomes possible when you stop treating your body and spirit as resources to be extracted. The world doesn't need more exhausted martyrs. It needs your full, vibrant presence. It needs your unique gifts expressed not from depletion, but from wholeness. It needs the solutions that can only emerge when you have the courage to step off the hamster wheel and into your power. As Katina so eloquently put it, the soft girl era isn't about being passive or diminishing your power. It's about recognizing that true power doesn't need to announce itself with force. It flows, it nurtures, it creates space for others to rise alongside you. This is your invitation to join the revolution, not with clenched fists, but with open palms, not by fighting harder, but by surrendering to your own wisdom, not by becoming someone else's definition of strong, but by embodying your own authentic power. Your softness is not your weakness, it is your wisdom, it is your power, it is your birthright. And embracing it might just be the most revolutionary act of all.